Yes, Wellington Mayor Faro pulled the pin on a second term, announcing she'll instead run for the city's Māori ward seat in this year's local election, campaigning alongside, not against, Andrew Little, although she has also now just said she can see herself as deputy mayor with Andrew Little. Speaking of the Māori wards, their future is technically still up in the air, with a binding referendum triggered by new coalition government rules. But no matter the outcome, the seat is locked in till at least 2028, and Faro says she's confident voters will back keeping it. The move marks a sharp change in direction. Earlier this year, after some hesitation, Faro confirmed she would seek re-election as mayor, this time under the Green Party banner in 2022, where she toppled Andy Foster while running as an independent, backed by the Greens. Today's announcement follows the launch of the first stage of the Golden Mile revamp in Courtenay Place, a project that Faro calls a key milestone in her leadership. Her mayoralty, however, has been weighed down by personal controversies, clashes with council and central government, financial woes, public battles with alcohol, and to a degree excusing a lot of it on her ADHD. Still, Faro claims she achieved a bit during her tenure, naming funneling 30% of the council's $1.8 billion budget into water upgrades, passing the district plan, laying 27 kilometres of new cycleways, doubling bus lanes from 4 to 8 kilometres, and planting 223,000 trees across the capital. And with Faro stepping aside, the mayoral race now includes, of course, as we said, Andrew Little, Councillor Ray Chung, businessman Carl Teffenbacher, I hope I said it right, probably didn't, I apologise, conservationist Calvin Hastie, former councillor Rob Goulden, and former Wellington Live owner Graham Bloxham. Nominations close in August and advance voting starts on September the 9th. And this reeks of a deal, doesn't it, that has been done with Faro and Andrew Little. The rumour is that, well, not really a rumour now, because she's come out saying that if he wins, Faro will be his deputy mayor. Ray Chung, who is in the mayoralty race as well, spoke with Sean Plunket this morning. Here's a little bit of it.
There's no place for party politics in council. You know, we're here to run the city. We're here to make Wellington a better place for everyone. We're not here to play political games, and yet this is exactly what they're doing. But I have to say that it's working extremely well for them.
Meanwhile, Andrew Little's mayoral campaign, no surprise, has won the backing of the Labor Party, and he says he intends to use local Labor volunteers to help run his campaign by door knocking, phone calls and deliveries. And here are some of Andrew Little's promises. Fixing the pipes and investing in our parks. He says our parks, Wellington's parks, swimming pools and libraries. Prioritising more housing development and cheaper public transport. Taking action on climate and honouring the treaty. He also says he will ensure there's a firm grip on the council and its finances. They don't seem to go hand in hand, though. I mean, if you're going to be spending money on parks and swimming pools and libraries and what does taking action on climate and honouring the treaty mean? And what does that cost the ratepayers? Well, I want to get your thoughts on all of this shortly, but first, Andy Foster served as Mayor of Wellington from 2019 to 2022 after a long career as a city councillor. Known for his focus on infrastructure and urban development, Foster's mayoral term ended after one term when he was defeated by Tory Faro. Currently a New Zealand First List MP, Andy chairs Parliament's Transport and Infrastructure Select Committee and continues to champion regional and infrastructure issues. And he joins me now, Andy Foster. Good afternoon.
G'day. Oh, good afternoon. Good to be here.
Nice to talk to you. Are you surprised by Tory pulling the pin on a second term as mayor?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm not in regular dialogue with Tori and her thinking. It's actually quite, from her perspective, I think it's probably quite a clever move because I suspect, I mean, I've never seen the degree of anger, and I do mean anger, expressed from a large part of the Wellington community towards a council and obviously she is the focus of that. And I think, given her finding it difficult to front up some relatively benign public meetings, I think it would have been a very, very challenging environment for her personally to have stood up and for mayor and gone to. I mean, you do about 50 public meetings. I think she'd have found that horribly challenging.
Yeah.
And so for her, I think it's probably a very smart move. And I mean, stepping into the what looks like it'll be a vacated Maori ward, it's a pretty neat sidestep.
Would you, I mean, after what you've just said then, how do you sum up her term? Because this afternoon in an interview, she gave herself a rating of 9 out of 10, Andy. High rating, high praise, high praise, indeed.
Yeah. Well, the first thing, as I'd say, is that this is the only council which has had any intervention by the government in the last 3 years. That is out of councils across the entire country. It's the only council that's failed to deliver a long-term plan. Yep. She was blessed with a majority support around the council table, which is something I never had, and she's managed to squander that. The rates have gone up by, if they go through with this term, the proposed annual plan will be 48% increase over 3 years. I know. You're genuinely getting people who are fearful of their ability to pay those rates, and that is both residents and businesses. You've got the central city, which is clearly struggling. If that's 9 out of 10, wow. I don't know what you'd have to do to get 1 out of 10.
Jeez, hopefully she'll never be a teacher either. And it looks like she has done a deal with Andrew Little, and she has come out today and said that she sees herself as deputy mayor if he gets it. Which again, that is, the likelihood, but the fact that she thinks she's secured herself yet another job. I mean, that's not fair either.
Well, I think in making the sidestep she has, she's essentially removed what would have been a referendum on this council's performance in the mayoral vote, which will frustrate a lot of people. Obviously, standing for the Maori ward, which has a very, very low turnout. I mean, the councillor who was elected in that ward was elected on 872 votes. That is a quarter for those people thinking about the validity of a Maori ward. It's a quarter of the average vote that was required to be elected in any of the other wards.
Wow.
And that's because the number of people in the ward is low and the turnout is even lower. So,
Yeah. I want to ask a little bit about Andrew Little, because he obviously knows prize. He's got the backing of the Labor Party, but he says he'll use Labor's thousands of volunteers. He said tens of thousands during his campaign to door knock and ring people and so forth. Again, surely,
strong suit.
yeah, but surely again, Andy, that is unfair to other candidates. Or is this all part and parcel?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, in Wellington, we saw it with Tory's election. We saw it with Tamitha Paul, who won the ward by a country mile when she was standing as a councillor. We saw the same thing with the Greens winning 2 of the seats in the general election. There is a very large ground army that the Green Party and I think the Labor Party have. That is really tough for independents to match. It's very, very tough. I know that. Because you've got to literally get people person by person to help you. Whereas if you can just roll out a missive to say, hey, can 400 people turn up and help me out? That's a big advantage.
Yeah. So one of the couple of things that Little would like to do is invest in parks, swimming pools, libraries. I mean, is that what Wellington really needs right now?
Look, I heard the list you said, and I also heard you comment about the firm grip on the council's finances not going quite hand in hand with saying I'm going to be able to provide everything. That's the reality. I think he's going to have to. Well, for those people who are thinking, who are thoughtful about votes and about issues, which I hope is most people, I think he's going to have to explain those things in a lot greater detail and how he would do that. I think the same is true for Ray Chung. I think to say you can have a
Yeah,
zero
all
rate
of them.
increase, you've got to say, how do I get to zero? And in both of those instances, you're going to have to come up with some things that some people won't like. But it's a lot more credible to do that than to say I'm going to do everything and it's going to be free.
Hey, Andy, just a quick technical issue here. You're kind of fading in and out with your phone. I'm not sure if
Oh,
you're...
sorry.
There we
Yeah,
are.
no, I keep it right close to my...
Oh, was it under your chin while you were doing something else? I
under
bet.
my chin. Yeah. No, not at all. Completely focused.
Under your chin while you were doing the dishes or something.
No,
He also,
you'd hear the clang.
you'd hear that. Oh, yeah, the clanging about.
That.
Hey, he also, I mean, you were in council for a long time, and when you hear, I mean, and it's obviously it's evolved, but not saying that it wasn't evolved when you were there. But he also claimed, and then I'll move on from Little, but he also wants to take action on climate and honouring the treaty. I mean, what would that look like? What does that mean?
I think there's a number of things there. I mean, on the climate side of things, you'd say, well, it's encouraging more people to bike, to use public transport, etc. It's trying to reduce your landfill emissions, all of those kind of things. The challenge you've got is that you don't want to destroy Wellington in doing what ultimately is a symbolic thing, because the reality is it doesn't matter what New Zealand does, let alone what Wellington does. It is not going to make a jot of difference in terms of changing the world's climate. This is an international issue. I mean, I'm looking up some numbers the other day. I think China has 1,500 times, produces 1,500 times more coal than we do. And it's way more, not even if you count for population, it's 5 times as much, I think it is. So we are a tiny country, and Wellington is a small city within a country. You are not going to save the world from Wellington in terms of climate change. Treaty, well, I guess the issue there is